界中でこんなに多くの苦痛を引き起こした病気の真の原因や、中国共産党が自分の嘘に責任を負わなければならないこと、そして我々が真相を解き明かす努力を決して止めてはなりません。詳しくは VTR をご覧ください。
On November 12th, party officials released an internal report on the situation inside Wuhan, implying that multiple biosafety incidents had already occurred. Once you have opened the stored test tubes, it is just as if you have opened Pandora's box. These viruses come without a shadow and leave without a trace. 5 days later, unpublished records show what may have been the first documented case, the real first documented case of COVID-19, followed by 1 to 5 new case reports each day.
Now, we know that the official timeline in China says the first cases of COVID-19 occurred in December, but by November of 2019, they're already closing schools. So something's already happening. Well, we don't know exactly if that at that point they've begun to see evidence of it spread, or that they knew they had a lab leak and they were taking proactive measures. But they start closing schools in November of 2019, when they claim that the first known cases weren't until late December of 2019.
As the disease spread, it was only a matter of time before the news of the outbreak came out. The moment came on December 30th, when rebellious Chinese doctors blew the whistle on their own government. Shortly after, the CCP finally admitted to the truth, but only part of the truth. 2 years later, China still refuses to reveal what really happened.
The Chinese Communist Party is very sensitive to their global image. The idea that their experimentation led to the creation of a virus that has basically turned the world upside down is something they'll never be able to admit. It could threaten their hold on power internally, but it would most certainly change the world's perception towards them. So I believe there is no limits to what they are willing to do to make sure that the full story is never known.
What is the true nature and origin of COVID-19? In the past 3 years, the world has suffered over 6 million deaths and over $11 trillion in economic losses related to COVID-19. We've been told that this catastrophe was an act of nature, but Chinese documents tell another story. They tell a story of reckless, power-hungry leaders who encouraged risky research in an environment that was clearly unsafe. And they tell a story of a government cover-up orchestrated to hide the possibility that COVID-19 was not naturally occurring at all, but the product of gain-of-function research in the Wuhan lab.
So I'm not sure we'll ever know the entire story, but I think now we have enough pieces put together to really change the entire narrative. Whereas some were now saying in the past that the fact that it might have been naturally occurring was 50% likely and a lab leak was another 50%, I think this additional circumstantial evidence that's been gathered, which is pretty compelling and which has never been seen before, weigh heavily those odds towards something bad happened in one of these laboratories. It infected someone, they took it out into the general population, and they changed the course of history. Hopefully people will take this work and build upon it, but I do believe that these are troubling revelations.
The world deserves to know the real origin of the disease that has caused so much suffering. The Chinese Communist Party must be held accountable for its lies, and we must never stop trying to uncover the truth.